Takadosh Erev Tov, Masechet Ketubot Daf Pei Tet 89a1. We're just going to start on the bottom of Pechet Amubet, the last line, which is the Mishnah, the new Mishnah. Hotzia get ve'en imo ketubah. Imagine right now she comes and she takes out a get, and there's no ketubah. Still, gova ketubata. She can still collect her ketubah. Ketubah ve'ima get. What happens if she takes out a ketubah but she doesn't have a get? He omer, and she comes and she says, Avad giti, she lost her get. Vehu omer, and he says, Avad shovri, no, I paid her the ketubah, but I lost the document, I lost the receipt. The same halakha would apply to a balchov, a debt, a person that's in debt. Shotzi shtar chov, that he took it as shtar chov. Very more pruzbol, he doesn't have a pruzbol. We just did Erev Rosh Hashanah pruzbol. So imagine you take out a debt and say, I can't find my pruzbol. You don't have to pay it. If you can't find your pruzbol, I don't have to pay you the debt. Wow. I owe you 10,000, 100, doesn't matter. You don't have pruzbol, you don't have to pay. Keep it in exactly, you have to keep it in the same place. Yeah. So he says, right? Lo yiparu. Rashbag says, Shemina sakana ve'elach, from the time of sakana and onwards, isha gova ketubata shelo beget. A woman could collect her ketubah even without a get. Ubalchov could collect also even without a pruzbol. We're going to see what does that mean exactly from the time of the sakana and onwards. Says the Gemara, Shema mina, we learn from here, Kotvin lo shovar, that we always pay a receipt, like it's like a receipt. Meaning you just pay the document, you get a receipt even until today. You pay something, you have a receipt. Where's your receipt? Where's your proof of payment? Proof of purchase. Right? And Kotvin shovar b'ziv, you're going to tell me that you don't write the receipt. Why don't we just say that we're going to suspect that the woman is going to take out her ketubah, the gavyabah, and then she's going to collect again. Meaning she's going to come collect twice. She collects once. Let's say after collecting, the husband dies a year later. She comes back, she says, give me the ketubah. She still has the ketubah. There's no receipt, no nothing. And that's it. She could collect the second time.
Some patients go to the pharmacy and get the prescription, and they go, not here.
Yeah, and they get another one. Another one. Yeah, okay. So the same thing. So Amar Rav comes and he says, no, we're talking about you don't write a ketubah. So since you don't write a ketubah, so then the husband cannot get out of it by saying, right, give it back. There's no ketubah. Shmuel comes and he says, no. We're talking about that you do write a ketubah. Right? But according to Shmuel, kotvin shovar, do you actually write a receipt? Amar Ravanan comes and he says, right, explain to me that what Shmuel says. We're talking about that you don't write the ketubah. The Amar and the husband said, Katafti, I did write a ketubah. So 1 second. If nobody writes a ketubah and you wrote a ketubah, you bring a proof that you wrote a ketubah. But if it's a place where you do write a ketubah, the Amra, and she said that he didn't write me a ketubah, she has to bring the proof that there was no ketubah. Meaning that we all go by the normal of the cases. If it's normal to write a ketubah and he didn't write it, and she says he didn't write it, bring a proof he didn't write it. If it's normal not to write it, then now he says he did write it, bring a proof that you did write it. The Rav and also Rav, he retracted. The Amar Rav was Rav says, it doesn't matter whether you do write a ketubah or not, she could always collect the ikar ketubah. Right? The gova, right? That's what he says. If she gives out a get, she gets the ikar of the ketubah. She takes out a ketubah, she only collects the tosefet. And if somebody wants to go against me, bring me a proof. Come and bring me a proof. Okay, that's what he says. It's very interesting. That means basically, if you only take out the get without the ketubah, you get the ikar of the ketubah because that everybody gets. But if it's the ketubah without the get, so then you only get the tosefet, which was the extra, which was on the ketubah. So Tanan, which now makes sense because then even if she would come out with the get afterwards, she only gets the ikar. She doesn't get the extra. You understand? That means it depends what she brings, depends what we give her. And then even if she would come with the other one, we would only give her the other thing anyway. So it makes sense. You understand? That means she comes with a get, you give her the yikara ketubah, which is the 200 zuz or 100 zuz, depends if she's a betula or not. If she comes with the ketubah, you give her the tosefet. She'll afterwards come with the get, fine, but you're only giving her the yikar. If she comes afterwards without, you know, it doesn't matter. So you're not collecting twice.
We would think that the ketubah has.
Now we learned in the Mishnah, ketubah ve'enima get. What happens if she comes and she takes out a ketubah, but she does not have a get? He omer, she says, avad giti, that I lost a get. Vehu omer, and he says, avad shovri, I lost the shovar, the receipt. The same thing with the balchov. He takes out the chov, but he doesn't have the pruzbul. You don't have to pay. So Bishamal Shmuel, I understand Shmuel, Mukila Bimkom Shen Kotvim, we're talking about it, you're not writing anything. The Amad, and you still said Katafti that I did write it. The Amrina that we tell him, Aitiraya, bring a proof. We know Aitiraya if you don't bring a proof. Amrina, we're gonna tell him, Zil Parek, go pay up. Ela le Rav, but according to Rav, the Ikar la Gavia, I understand that the Ikar is that you're not going to be Gove, Tosefet, Mia Tigbe. But he says, but at least at the Kol Panim, get the Tosefet. So Rav Yosef says, what are we dealing with? Keshe'en sham ede girushin. There's no ede girushin. So Migud Yachol Lemeimar, because since he could say lo gerashtia, that I did not divorce, which means that he's going to be patur from paying the ketubah. Yachol Lemeimar gerashtia, not to the ketubah. Basically, he could have said, listen, I never divorced her. Why should I pay her money? I never divorced her. So now he could come and say, no, I divorced her and I gave her the ketubah. Right? He could say that I did divorce her and I gave her the ketubah. Right? Pay tetamubet, 89b. Yeah? So says the Gemara, Hamidiktani Seifa, that which we learned to say, Rashbag says from the Sakarain onwards, a woman collects her ketubah without the get and a balchov without the prosbul. And obviously we're talking about that there is a degirushin. The lekab is if there's not going to be a degirushin, the my gavia, what are you going to collect with? Elakula Rashbag, but rather the entire Mishnah is talking about Rashbag. We're lacking, and this is what it means to say. What does that mean? You're not going to pay them back. But one of these words, when there's not going to be a degirushin. But if there is going to be a degirushin, gavia tosefet, you could collect the tosefet, right? Ve'ikar, and also the ikar, it all depends. Sorry, you collect the tosefet, nekuda, dot. The ikar, now the ikar of the ketubah, imafka gita gavia, if you take out the get, you collect it. And if you don't take out the get, you don't collect it. But from the sakana onwards, even though you don't take out a get, gavia, you could collect it. Basically, what happened was that they made during the time of the sakana that you weren't allowed to fulfill the mitzvot. So the goyim come and say you're not allowed to do mitzvot. All of a sudden you come, you have a pruzbul. What's this? What are you going to start explaining? No, it's a pruzbul. A debt document, everybody can have. But a pruzbul, what are you doing? You understand? Or a get. What's a get? You understand? There's a civil divorce, but what's a get? So because of that, from the sakana onwards, they wouldn't have all these papers. They wouldn't have. Right? They would. So Amri le Rav Kana Ravasi to Rav. Says Rav Kana Ravasi to Rav. Le didach, according to you, Damarta, you said get gova yikar. That if you have the get, you're going to be gove the yikar of the ketubah. Almanah min nesuin, almanah from the nesuin. B'may gavia, what are you going to collect exactly? Right? Remember, we're talking about now an almanah from marriage. Right? She's a widow from marriage. What is she going to collect? So says the Gemara, with witnesses that the guy died. So lechosh dima girsha, maybe he divorced her. V'mapka legita, and then she's going to take out the get, the gavi bed, and she's going to get the second time around. Meaning, she's going to bring two witnesses that the husband died. She collects. A little bit later, she goes to another bedin, she takes out a get, and she collects again. So she's going to collect twice. So answers the Gemara, no. We're talking about that this almanah, she was always with the husband until the day of his death. So we're not going to suspect that he divorced her because she lived with him until the last day, until right before he died. Exactly. So says the Gemara, no, maybe right before his death, he divorced her. He didn't want her to be an almanah, right? Because it's like a bad mazal, you know. So sometimes they prefer she's a grusha, not an almanah. You understand? Yeah, because it's like afterwards it becomes a black widow. This, like it becomes. So sometimes they prefer that she should stay divorced and not a widow. You understand? So that's what they prefer. So Zilma, there's many times, even in Morocco, one of the places, sometimes when the husband died, they would never get remarried again. It was like mamash. It was like correct or not? They would never get remarried again. It was like mama. That means she could have lost her husband at the age of 50. She could have. It was like mamash. Like, well, that's it for the rest of her life. You understand? So it was better that the husband would give her a get. She's divorced now. She wasn't a widow. She was divorced. She could get married to whoever she wants.
And the husband give the get?
Yeah, the husband would give it, obviously. Yeah. Sometimes he would do it. So that's what we're asking. The dilma sanuch girsha. So says the Gemara, if Be'emet he gave her the get right before his death, so he was the one who made himself lose. Because now she's going to collect twice, so he made himself lose. So says the Gemara, Almanah min Erusin my gavia. What about if she's an Almanah from the Erusin, from the engagement? I remember engagement from the Torah. The my gavia, how's she going to collect? Why don't we suspect that he divorced her, and then she's going to take out the get? So look what happened. He got engaged. He died, and now she's going to collect the ketubah. So it says, you're right. In a place where it's impossible, they're going to write a receipt. Because if you're not going to say that, also. Why don't you come? You're going to take a demita in one bedin, collect it, and then she's going to go she's going to go to another bedin, and she's going to collect with another bedin, another bedin. She's going to collect twice. This one she's going to use Mr. AB, right, and the other one CD, and she's going to go to the two different bedins, and she's going to collect. So for sure she's going to write a shovar, right, which is a receipt. So Elmaleh mol kashisha v'derachasta says mol kashisha v'derachasta Ravashi to Ravashi almana min elusim minalan deitla. How do we know that an almana from the elusim gets ketubah? She's only engaged. She's not married. Where? How do you know that she gets a ketubah? Why would she get a ketubah? We spoke about this. You remember? So he says, "Ila, maybe you're going to tell me because it's a mishnah above where the mishnah says nit armalan kasha min benusim govaitako. She's going to collect everything." Dilma de katabla. Maybe he wrote it. Right? And therefore, since he wrote it, he was obligating himself a ketubah from the elusim. And are you going to tell me if he did write it? What are you talking about then? Is the coming to that he says, the only reason why in the world the person would write a ketubah to his wife for the elusim was on condition that he's going to get married to her. Because if he wasn't going to get married to her, why would he write her a ketubah now? He's not obligated to. Would a person give his wife something before meaning engaged? He just gets engaged. He's going to write her now an inheritance that she inherits him, that she gets all these. He wouldn't do that unless they're all going to get married. But if not, he wouldn't do such a thing. So Daikanami Diktani, we could also deduce this from the fact that we said Govai she could collect everything. What does it mean collect everything? So says the Gemara, if you're going to tell me, if you're going to tell me the Katabla that he wrote it to Rabbi Shamachi, that's why she's going to collect everything. But if you're going to tell me the low Katabla that he didn't write it, what does it mean Govai Takol? She's going to collect everything. Manamatay muditla. She only gets manamatay. She's only going to get 100 or 200. Depends whether she was a betula or not. But rather, the fact that it says that the ishto is a rusa, he doesn't become an onen. And if the wife dies, he doesn't become an onen. Right? If he's a kohen, he's not allowed to become tametor. The same lacha applies to her. If he dies, lo onen, and she doesn't become an onenet, and she doesn't become tmeah to him, right? Even though it doesn't apply. What is it, right? That's the whole question over here. Lo mitamelo is lav davka, because anyway, a woman, even if she's a bat kohen, she could become tmeah. Meta, if she dies, and right, and Yorsha, he doesn't inherit her. Metu, if he dies, go back to Vata, she gets a ketubah. Dilma, maybe the ketubah, maybe he did write her a ketubah. If you're going to tell me ketubah that he wrote her, what are you talking about then? Meta and Yorsha, what does that mean then? That if she dies, he doesn't inherit her. It's sichale, so then we shouldn't. Why? Because that's the chidush. Okay, so that's the chidush is Meta and Yorsha. So it says the Gemara, Elmaleh Rav Nachman Rav said Nachman to Rav Huna, LeRav, according to Rav, that he says get. Gova ikar, that for the get he's going to collect the ikar. Lechu, why don't we suspect Dima Mapka Gita by Bedina Megavia? He's going to go collect it in one bedin. And then she's going to take it in another bedin and collect it as well. We're going to tear the get. He says, Amra says, I need the get in order to get married. Because she's going to come and find an excuse. She needs the get. Why did she need the get? To get married. So you can't tear the get. He just paid off the ketubah. Yeah, but you can't tear the get. She needs a get. So says the Gemara, no, the karina le, we do tear the get. The katvina nagabe, we write on top of it. Gita denan karan, we tore it. Not because it's pasul. In order that she shouldn't collect a second time. Meaning we write the bedin, we tear, then we write down. We didn't tear it because it's pasul, but we tore it in order she can't collect again. Mishnah on the bottom of Petet Mubet. Shne gitinu shte ketubot. Whatever she takes out two gets or two ketubot. Shte ketubot beget echad, or two ketubot or one get. Or ketubah, one ketubah, and two gets. Or ketubah, a get. Or one ketubah, one get. Right? On the mitah, she had a proof. Ena govat, she only gets one ketubah. Because even if a person got divorced and he got married to her again, it's only one ketubah. You only get one ketubah. Okay? Says the Gemara, if you're going to tell me now that she's going to collect with one, she's going to collect with the other, why don't we just say that's a tufta on Rav Nachman and Shmuel? The Amar of Nachman Shmuel says, when you have two documents, one after another, you always go after the second document. Meaning, let's say you have one document, you let me 100, a second document, 200, right? But there's one after another. So therefore, if we're not going to say it's two separate things, and it's obviously, because if it's two different debts, that's something different. I'm going to say the second one and also the first one. So Lava Yitman La, wasn't it stated, Amar Papa, Mother Nachman, if you added one extra thing, לתוספת כתבי. You added it to add on one extra thing. For example, you added on a palm tree. So that means when you wrote the second document, it was to add something on. Hachanami be'odosif la. So too, he's adding on something extra. So Tanu Rabbanan, we learned to write the Oziel get to ketubah mita. What happens now? She takes out a get, she takes out the ketubah, and she takes out witnesses that he died. So Tzadi Amudale from the top, 98.1. He get kodem ketubah. If the get was before the ketubah, she gets the 2 ketubot, 98.1. Right? The ketubah kodem leget. But if the ketubah was before the get, and agova ela ketubah achat, she only gets 1 ketubah. Sham gareshet ishto v'chzira. But if a person that divorces his wife and he takes her back, al menat ketubah rishona v'chzira. He's only going to take her back according to the ketubah rishona. Continue with Zat Hashem tomorrow.